Welcome to this introduction video of the Sacred Dance Academy. I'm Jos Haldermans, the principal, and I hope to give you some impression on how we work, what we do, what we offer you, and what you can expect. So, what we do, we offer you two hybrid courses. There's a course for deepening your private connection with dance, your dancing abilities, your learning dances. If you'd like to do the dances better, learn about their background, learn about the ideas behind them, and you could choose this in-depth course. If after this course you feel like, but I want to teach this, I want to facilitate this, I want to stimulate people and get them in a circle and dance these dances, then you do the teacher's course, which will take you more or less also an extra year. We cannot ask people anymore to zip around the world to follow a course, to take the airplane from God knows where, and to come every month or every 2 months for a couple of days to follow a course. It's too heavy on the planet, it's too heavy on the climate. It's too heavy also on our individual energy, time and money. So we decided whatever we can offer online with good video material, we will. So we decided, let's do it on video as much as we can with good video material. And then you have the option to choose a film in which you actually learn the dance step by step, or you choose the version just to dance along, to practice, or you choose the version that tells you about the symbols and the background of the dance. An important reason not to use Zoom with these courses is that Zoom has a big disadvantage. There's very soon a difference between the speed of the sound and the speed of the image. For talking, this is no problem. We could also, with you, the students, we could have Zoom sessions when it's about questions and answers and socialize and have talks about things. Another advantage is you can study at a time that's convenient for you. You don't have to be somewhere when you're ill, when somebody in your family is ill, when you have lots of work to do. You can pick the best moment for you. You will be asked to make little videos now and again of you dancing. So your teachers can give you feedback to prevent you from maybe incorporating habits, incorporating movements, or forgetting something. And then maybe after a year when we come together, that you have to conclude, my God, I learned it wrongly and now it's very difficult to get it right again. So you'll be sending in little films, you might be sending in text, or theses that you make, questions to answer. The material we send you will be in English. You, in return, can either reply in English, in German, in French or in Dutch. So your passive knowledge of English is important, your active knowledge is perhaps not so important if you master one of the other languages. Now this might sound strange to you, but in our dance courses, both courses, dance is very important, but it's not the most important. The most important is the heart. It's all about the heart energy. The dance serves the heart energy. It helps us to open, to cleanse, to free, to develop the heart energy. That is our main goal. So, in other words, love. With our website, the interactive website that is being created at the moment, it gives us the possibility also that you send in your material and you can share it with your fellow students, and you can ask their comment, and you can join in discussions. So, although we are not as a group physically all present, we can profit from each other's contributions, each other's opinions, each other's feelings. So it's pretty much like real life, you could say. And of course, not everything can be done individually. So we organize per year, per course, 1 week of completely practice active dance work, you could say. And of course, you're very welcome, you're very invited to join us whenever you can at one of our sacred dance weekends, weeks, holiday weeks, and of course you can join other sacred dance teachers to practice. We try as much as possible to follow the ideas of Bernard Rosin, the founding father of sacred dance. He had in mind that there would be several teachers teaching several subjects, and that the whole thing would be the sacred dance teachers training. So not only sacred dance, but classical dance training, ballet. Very important to get this body consciousness, to know exactly what your body is doing, even if you're not looking at the actual arm or leg. The sacred dance, of course, music, rhythm, song, and of course learning how to teach, if you choose to do this teacher's training, of course. It's not only me who will be teaching you, it's also Ria Hildebrand, a sacred dance teacher, and a long year ballet teacher. Yvonne is a sacred dance teacher, Yvonne van Laken is a sacred dance teacher and a ballet teacher, and Judith van Wakeren is my sacred dance colleague. And together the four of us, we present the program. It's me who will go also into the backgrounds of the dances, into the symbolism, into the energy of it, and into the music and rhythm. Yeah? But together, we are the Sacred Dance Academy. Now, to illustrate what sacred dance is about, a little bit, maybe a very personal view of mine to what is it to be human and what is our destination, what is the idea. Remember, this is very personal, this is not a dogma that I'm putting on every participant of the study, but it might be helpful to give you some idea. Now, what we see here is the model of a human being, of us. You might not recognize it, but I'll tell you how it works. What we see outside here is what you see here. What I see of you, it is our form, our personality. Our personality, which is partly decided because we're a man or we're female, we are born in a certain age, we have certain parents, we have certain looks, and it forms our personality. Now, more inwards, more deeper in us is a thing which is less temporarily, and what we could say, we call it soul. It's the soul, it's the inner drive that we have, the yearning for certain things. It's the soul that resonates when we come to a place on earth that we say, I don't know what it is, but it is profoundly working on me. I feel emotional, or I feel like I've been here again before. This is the soul resonating. And even deeper, which I indicate with a C here, the C of our core, our very nucleus, is which we touch when we go into deep meditation. And we don't think about left, right, top and bottom, male, female, day and night. We are in the center, we are in absolute stillness and you don't realize that you're in stillness, you just are. A moment later you realize, oh, I've been in this stillness. But when you realize that you're not there anymore. This core, we could say, this is maybe the spark, the deep divine spark in us, yeah? Where all is one, where there's only unity. Now, why I tell you this is to say how I think that sacred dance works. I think sacred dance brings us into contact more with these inner layers, the soul. And we can feel our soul resonating with the music and the dance, and even sometimes we come into contact with this source. We can come with a still point in us. Now, the more that we come into contact with this source, the more you could say, if we can take another color, sorry, just stepped out of the image. You could say the more, the idea is to live more and more from inside out. Which means that the more you have contact with this inner sources, the soul and the core, the nucleus, this is where you live from. And your personality becomes the carrier, becomes the servant. You're still a personality, you might still like meat or not, but your personality is in service of this. Yeah? And it's not your personality who is important, because if you identify completely with the personality, very soon you develop, you could say, an extra layer, the layer of the ego, the layer of the ego. And the ego could be, for instance, I'm strong, nobody can hurt me, nobody can cause me any pain, I'm independent, or the ego can be, I'm a victim, I'm the loser, I always end up with a bad result. This kind of behavior is ego, and the more you identify with that, the less one is in contact with his inner sources. The more you get into contact with the inner sources, the less the ego plays a role, and in the end disappears. It disappears. And our personality is filled from within. Now again, it's a very personal vision, but this is how I see the role of sacred dance or other ways of initiation of growth, personal growth. Now, one of the things that we will discuss during the course is the system of the 4 elements. We know from the Chinese medicine they have a 5-element system, the Tibetans have a 3-element system, but we in our Western tradition, and that is dating from about 450 before Christ, we have a way of looking at things through these spectacles, you could say, of the 4 elements. That means if we look at people, if we look at situations, if we look at objects, we can discover it's more fire energy, it's more earth energy, more water or air. Why is this important? Not to label things, but to see differences and to give a deeper understanding of ourselves, of our fellow people, of the dances that we do, the music that we do. And it helps us to find the best solutions for certain problems, you could say. Even humans, when they have these 4 elements, they often have 1 or 2 in a larger quantity. I mean, a stronger fire energy or a stronger water energy. And it makes a different person with different capacities, different problems, different needs. For instance, when you have a group with many people who have a strong air energy, they love to do a lot of different dances. They would rather say, oh, not again this one, let's do a new one. Yeah? Or let's do a joyful one. But the participant who has a very strong earth energy, you'd say, no, let's do this one again and again. Let's do this old one that we did years ago. It was so beautiful. Let's do this again. And they don't have any problem with repetition. They don't want anything to change so quickly. And this was good. Let's do this again. So you can see, if you want to have everybody happy in the group, you have to give everybody what they need and not concentrate completely on one type of participant. A water person is often very easy to get along. They will not quickly say, I don't want this, I need something else. A fire person, then, and the opposite, will very easily speak their minds and say, I don't like this dance. Yeah? A water person will not easily say that because they're softer, they go along, but they might not completely also express what they need. And then later on you say, oh, why didn't they tell me? Maybe because you were not watching enough and not asking enough. Fire will tell you what they think, whether you like it or not. Water, less. So these are just a few examples on how these four elements play a role also in our groups. And if we do dances which have a lot of fire in them, that will be great for fire people, but maybe less for earth people or less for water people. If we do only beautiful waltzes and soft rolling music, some people might say, can we do something energetic, because I'm getting bored. I'm getting bored. Let's do something different. I want something different. So we'll discuss deeply about these four elements, and we even bring in the planets, and we bring in certain periods in our development, because you see more air energy in very young people, for instance, and more earth energy in people, in middle-aged people. So we'll play with that. And it's also a question of playing with it. You should not fix this too much. But it is a way of looking at things which are very helpful. So we go into the four elements with you. A little bit on music and especially on rhythm. Of course, with any dance training, rhythm will be very important. It is the beat to which we move. Now, one of the most beautiful dance rhythm is a 3/4 rhythm, or the rhythm of the waltz, which goes like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and in which you can make very rounded movements. Speaking, the emphasis on the first beat, you go deep and up and deep and up and deep and up and up. Compared to the, for us Westerners, even more common 4/4 measure, which is 4 equal beats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Which can also be divided in, for instance, a long one and 2 short ones. So the long one goes 1, 2, and then 3 and 4 are the short ones. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And a fascinating rhythm is the 7/8 rhythm that we hear in a lot of music from the Balkan countries. And it goes like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2. There are other possibilities, but this is the most common one. So you get 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. it gives possibilities in slower movements, quicker movements, slower movements, quicker movements. Just a few impressions on rhythm. And of course, song and dance go very well together. Since prehistoric times, you could say, this was the music on which people danced. And also for us, it's wonderful to sing and dance with a group. And it can be very practical the moment electricity is gone, or your apparatus doesn't function, or you don't have any apparatus with you, that you can do, for instance, a sun dance while singing. Amor, 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 hermanos, niños, amor, ama todo como hermanos, amor, 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 hermanos, niños, amor, ama todo como hermanos, amor. Or we do the balance on this dance. Amor, 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 hermanos, niños, amor, ama todo como hermanos, amor, and so on. Or we do in canon. Canon, they might say in English, but it's canon in many other languages. So one starts, amor, 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 amor. Group 2 starts, amor, 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 amor. And then you have choreographies and singing that are different, which is quite difficult to stick to your own part and not to be confused by the neighbor. But it's a good exercise to stay with it, to stay centered, and it sounds wonderful if you sing together, polyphony or in canon.